What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Let's Play Hiveswap Friendsim for the third time. My third playthrough of Hiveswap Friendsim, in which I mix it up by, instead of just playing it by myself or sending photos to a friend, I'm gonna make a commentary YouTube series out of it, because who's not these days? General warning for Homestuck spoilers, proper canon, the rest of this game, Pesterquest, Homestuck fanfics. If I say something resembling the epilogues or Homestuck 2, it's a coincidence. I don't know what those are. Do they exist? Who knows? Today, I'm pretty sure it's Tagora's route. If the game will load. There we go. Yeah, there he is. Mr. Teal, man bun man. Fresh from your most recent bout of gratuitous body injury and touching scenes of camaraderie, you soldier on. You've had a few setbacks, made a couple silly choices. Boy, do things just keep happening. But let nobody say that you, the main character, are incapable of growth and change. You have made sure not to be caught in the wilderness near dawn again. You have made your way back to civilization. You can't wait to discover what new adventures await you. Adventures like friendship. We'll get to him later. For now, it's man bun time. Oh yeah, my obligatory warning for I don't know if I can do consistent character voices. We'll see. You wander down a street in a not too demolished looking part of town, but you don't really take much of it in. You're not looking where you're going. This is an elementary mistake, especially on a planet where everything that exists seems to be on a spectrum of engineered specifically for murder to could be a weapon in a pinch, but you've got a lot on your mind. And now, as the car, these guys probably have some ridiculous word for it, but you haven't learned it. You hadn't noticed slams into you, sending you flipping head over feet, and you add a few new concerns to your list. Your bones and organs. The sounds of the driver yelling, "Watch where you're going, lump squirt chugger," fades as they drive away, and you assess your situation. Forgot, you just fucking get hit by a car. As you know, it was bound to happen eventually. You stretch each limb in turn, which, you've got to say, doesn't feel great. You've landed in a bush, which is covered in sharp spines. Because of course it is, because this is Alternia. Your arms and legs all still work though, and when you do an experimental cough, no blood comes out. Pretty lucky, you think. You may have redefined what luck means by this point in your journey, but you'll take what you can get. You don't figure that luck will extend to the driver turning around to help you out of this bush. Your gazes meeting and sparking an immediate and intense connection leads to a beautiful lifelong friendship. But you'll offer yourself hope, because that's totally the thing that happens. After a few minutes of struggle, the answer to your camaraderie, it's not a word, daydreams comes into focus above you, a figure outlined by the spiny leaves of your plant prison and the glow of the moons. Alternia, I gotta wonder what the ocean is like with two moons, because the reason our ocean is the way that it is because we have the one moon at the distance that it is. I'm like, what is Alternia even like? How do they deal with is that why the sea dwellers are? I wonder if the ocean's bigger actually. I guess we've never really seen. I guess even though we have seen a map of Alternia, that was a lie. We have seen a map of Alternia, but it's in Hiveswap, and I don't remember the details very well. The troll you see isn't the driver of the car, but you don't care. Your heart is beating wildly with your continued lucky streak. Alright, what does this say? That's what I wonder. I could probably look on the wiki, but that would require effort. It's a good voice for Mr. Tagora here. Hello. You seem to have fallen victim to a collide and scamper with that scuttlebutty back there. Introductory fee. Have you contacted your personal legislator? If not, I'd like to offer my services. Plus 10. My name is Tagora Gorjek, but please call me Gorgor. I'm here for you. For a nominal fee, of course. Plus 10. He pulls a business card from his sleek teal vest and offers you with a precise flick of the wrist. His claw beds are perfect. If only we could see his little claws. They're probably painted teal. You try again to sit up. Buoyed by his offer for assistance, he's some type of doctor, maybe? Or lawyer? We'll go with lawyer. You don't know the rules yet, but it's a lawyer. It doesn't matter, really, because he said he was here for you. Those words go right ahead and burn themselves onto the softest chamber of your heart. You start telling him your plight thus far, reaching up through the brambles toward this beacon of hope. This guy seems trustworthy, and that's not just your lack of options talking. You swear. Oh no. As you shift, the moonlight shines on you. He steps back briefly, dropping the card. The one eye that's not covered by a swoop broad and confused hair opens wide. He has controversial take here. Does Tagora have a mullet? Does that count as a mullet? Like, do his bangs disqualify him from having a mullet with a man bun? I don't think it does. I think Tagora has a mullet. We all have to come to accept that. He recovers, smoothing his hands down his chest and straightening up, clearing his throat as you continue to explain. You're what? Oh, yes, an alien. I knew that. I've done work with aliens before, so your situation shouldn't be an issue at all. Alien legislation and stipend. Plus 200. Everyone deserves an equal opportunity to be represented by me. Plus 10. In fact, we may be able to use this in our favor for a larger cash settlement. It all depends on our angle. Plus 10. Here, try moving our chug column. Plus 10. You aren't sure why this is necessary, but you wiggle your torso? Hoping that's right? You've never wanted anything more in your meager existence than to follow this specific directive. Perfectly. No, not that. Plus 10. You had a little hip jiggle? Not so much that he might think it's a come-on, but enough to say, hey, I'm friendly and I know what the fuck I'm doing. No, you're the thing that holds up your think pan. Work with me. It's plus 60 confusion emolument. Emolument. I don't know what that word means. You continue what you hope is a part of a troll friendship ritual, shimmying various parts of your anatomy deeper into the bush until you get to your neck, and he clasps his hands together. There we go. That one hurt, didn't it? Definitely a case of column snap, which can get us a decently hefty restitution. Plus 10. Your neck feels fine, or it doesn't hurt any more than the rest of you, but you give him what you hope is a convincingly painful nod of agreement. You just gotta, like, jerk your head a little bit. Of course, you will need to front the initial registration costs. We may also have to interview further to ensure our case is convincing, but you've got to break a few colloquies embryos to make a grublet, as you well know. Plus 50 initial costs. Yes, I think we may make a mutually beneficial team if you are willing to do what it takes to bring about the justice you deserve. It's no justice. This is Alternia. It's not real. So, what do you say? How would you like to help me help you? Oh, it's plus 10 there. Plus 10 again. Alright, 900, whatever the fucking Alternian currency is. He's talking really fast. I need to talk faster. And you're not sure exactly what to think about your lack of funds or the idea of breaking any more bones, but that smile is sharp and shiny and pointed right at you. You want more of it. I think, as per usual, we're going to see if we can get the bad endings first, so I think we're going to ask him if he does pro bono work. You thank him profusely for his offer to help and explain that while your situation here hasn't exactly left you very rich, you'll pay him back in glorious friendship, the most infinite of resources. You lay it on thick. He seems like a guy who could appreciate a good deal when he sees one, and you can't imagine a better deal than this. You reach both arms up, waiting for him to scoop you up out of this pain point like a gentle baby you are. Sorry, I don't do charity. Such a shame, too. I was hoping work with an alien might make for a more interesting day than usual. $97, you're not worth it. They're not dollars. He turns on his heel and walks away, his high ponytail swishing behind him. Unfortunately, friendship is not a currency. Just knocked over my multi-tool. Alternia. Many things can be currency, but friendship is apparently not one of them. Also, it is a mullet, I've decided. He's got a mullet with little side swooshes and a man bun. Let's go back. And, We're back at 900 Alternian currency, and we're going to tell him about the heaps of money you definitely have. You mentioned how incredibly loaded you are, and how core to your sense of values it is to pay well for good work.
That's what we call good business.
+10.
Now get up out of the prickle frond and let's get you presentable.
He watches you flail a few times before he sighs, unbuttons his sleeves, and rolls about to his elbows. Each fold is crisp and even. It takes a while, but you're good at being patient.
There is a 12% cost increase for instances of manual labor. It'll all be explained in your bill.
Plus 110 manual labor hike.
It's itemized.
+10.
I'm sure an alien of me and such as yourself will be able to handle it.
+10. You take his hand and he pulls you up and out of the bush. It's kind of a rough job. It's not as strong as he looks, you guess. He glares at you like he's daring you to say shit about it, and you are a quick learner. He cuts you off mid-thank you.
My office isn't far from here. We can go there to get things started. And by things, I absolutely mean get you clean and sign a lot of vaguely worded yet stringently binding documents.
+10. He walks with a purpose. You shake off the flora stuck with your various body parts and do your best to catch up. Sorry, we don't have any clothes yet. We haven't gotten there. We'll get close soon. From the outside, his office basically just seems to like his hive. You've learned a thing or two during this shitstorm of a cultural exchange, though. You gotta play it cool when a potential friend invites you home. You never know what cages, or monsters, or methods of evisceration they might have laying around. You want to prepare a nice, chill look on your face for whatever carnage you're about to be confronted by. Except you're talking with the Nerdcast, so his house is gonna be fine. That's a lie, sometimes teals have weird fucking houses. Especially if they're in trees. There's the ferret! A ferret dad for a ferret boy. They have the same, he has his dad's smile. It doesn't work. Your face falls to bewildered hell when you walk inside because it's all chrome and glass and broad white walls in there. It's like he bought the fanciest looking crate and barrel display room he could find, down to the last useless minimalist accessory, and then never sat down in it. His Lucis, a ferret, is chilling on an enormous silver thing that's halfway between a throne and a play tower. Everything is clean and bright and at perfect right angles, and you don't see any weapons anywhere. It's fucking creepy. You ask him if he just moved in, because polite conversation seems like maybe the best thing you can do. In the absence of something specific to focus your fear on, you're just sort of a little afraid of everything. That looks like... what even is that? Is that a knife? I don't know.
You're not paying me to learn my life story, unless you'd like to. In that case, no. I've lived here most of my life. I'll go ahead and add that to your bill.
Plus 1,500 life story installment. You stare at one of the chairs. Should you sit in it?
By all means, do not make yourself at home.
+10.
Head straight to my abolition trap while I prepare a contract.
+10. You really want to connect with this guy, and you like how you just vibed there, where you're talking about sitting in your bed-raggled ass in his fancy chair, and he can totally tell you were thinking it, but you don't want to be friends badly enough to walk straight into something that has the word trap right there in its name without at least pondering it for a second. You become savvier during all of this. That's a lie. You still have no... I think I joked last while, they have no danger sense. So yeah, I think this is the other bad ending, which is no entrapment, please. You tell him you'd rather stay away from any and all traps if that's alright. You mention that you think that's the better move for both of you. Something tells you that this guy wants to know what's in it for him. Probably all the times he said explicitly that. You do have that vibe going after all. It's up there, it's the 2,590 Alternian currency charge. He taps a claw in his chin and looks you up and down. He takes his time. Try not to blush, no matter how exacting his gaze is.
You present a solid case.
+10.
Your whole look is more than a bit repellent, but it may make the pitiable lost alien more emotionally effective if you still look like you just got run over.
I forgot the word angle in there. The lost alien angle. +10.
Frown.
10. It takes you a second to realize that he didn't just say his physical emotion response instead of just doing it with his face. He's giving you a direction. You stick your lower lip out, try to look as pathetic as possible.
Yes, this is really working for me. It's awful. Completely repugnant.
Another +10.
+50, pungency payment. Your general squalor should function as a simple manipulation tactic, no matter which direction I decide to spin it.
+10. The praise makes it hard to keep frowning, but you do your best to keep it up. You even hunch over a bit and shamble a few meager steps toward him.
Great, yes. That's enough. No need to come any closer.
That's a +10. We're up to 3,000, guys. +540. Seriously, you smell terrible.
Okay then, we'll skip the hygiene and get straight to the best part.
Bureaucracy. False. It's the worst part. +10.
Stay right there and don't get any of your crusty alien orifices near my decor. I'll go print out our contract and we can move on.
+100 reimbursement for ink. Inkbursement. You pretend you're a statue while he types things, then prints the typed things, then staples the printed things. His Ferralusa stares you with beady interest. You stare back, completely motionless. You wonder how often Gorgor has friends over. He brings back the packet over to you and hands you a pen.
Read this. Or don't. Sign it either way.
+10.
It's a standard legislature agreement, tweaked a bit to accommodate your particular situation.
+10.
You agree to submit your testimony to be judged and will accept whatever subjugation you receive. You recognize that any potential winnings are to be remitted to me for processing through a local account before your portion can be dispensed to you. In the event of your calling, I will act as an executor of your accounts, blah blah, some old business. I'm sure it's the same with your firm. There are stars each place you to our initial 1,250 shrunken text expense.
That sure was a lot of stuff that you just got told real fast. You were trying to listen, really, but he winked at you early on in his monologue, and it was really distracting because you couldn't stop thinking about if maybe you could incorporate a wink into a secret handshake, maybe? Anyway, regular legal jargon. Yeah, just like all those times you click to say you've read the terms and conditions on any old harmless social media app. That stuff never ends up being relevant. Considering the day I'm recording this, the TikTok ban just got announced. You show off your exquisitely polished John Hancock as many times as it takes.
Excellent, excellent. Everything's in order then?
+10.
Are you ready to head out?
+10. Oh, like now? You're not ready. Do you look roughed up enough when your bones need to go through any more ordeals? What's a subjugulator? Does Tagora...
No, sweep, like the one you're fucking in, as they say.
-50, swear jar.
Pardon the language. It's an idiom.
+10.
It means it's time to fucking go.
Let's watch the fucking language.
That's a -50 for the swear jar.
You follow him out as apprehensively as you followed him in. As you retrace the path you took not too long ago, it occurs to you to wonder if this glorious feat of justice is going to take place, and, like, if anyone is going to subpoena that asshole that hit you. Is that even a thing here? You skip up to match Tagora's pace and ask.
There's no real need for you to worry about that. It's for me to deal with.
+10.
I saw the perpetrator, of course. If it seems prudent to pin the crime on them when the time comes, I will have more than enough credible evidence to condemn them.
+10.
Their blood cash should be sufficient, but if it seems worth it to call in their dented scuttlebuggy, I can certainly do that as well.
+150 bonus for potential frame job.
Of course, that's not the only way we can spend this. It may not be necessary to involve them at all.
+10.
Don't bother worrying about that either.
+10. You definitely still worry about that? But you nod and keep walking like you're not bothered. You want to match his level of easy confidence. It's almost comforting to be around it now that you spent some time with him. It's simple. You're still basking in the ease of being told what to do when the whole vibe flips over in its ass so fast you feel like ice down your back. You look at Tagora first. He's stopped walking and his posture somehow straighter. Even his cute little ponytail thing looks more alert. This is a Ghibli movie. He's staring at the approach of another troll. A blue guy? You know that means high blood, but not much else about what that entails, aside from what you're picking up from the full hair-on-end cat reaction from Tagora next to you. He's not a horse indigo, so that makes him fine. Also obligatory, because this is a Fuck the Highbloods channel. Fuck the Highbloods, even the ones who aren't horse indigos. Pleasant evening, sir. His voice somehow gets sweeter and more professional at the same time. I don't know how to do that, just imagine. You recognize what he's feeling because you felt it in yourself the whole time you've been on this godforsaken planet. A deep, all-consuming thirst for approval. He's gunning hard for business boy friendship. Friendship. Yes. Definitely just friendship. The high blood, however, is not. At first you think he might be chill because the smile gets huge, and hell, if you don't love getting smiled upon. You start to introduce yourself until Tagora shoots you a "be cool" look. It's then that you learn this guy's smile is not the nice kind. What's this? He asks. Tagora picked up a little friend. I don't remember his quirk, so he doesn't get a voice. It's not. We have a working relationship. Plus 20. Collectively. You try not to let his dismissal of your friendship sting. You're not there yet, it's okay. You want to be helpful, so you put on your best injured face and start hobbling in a circle, twisting your neck in the most grotesque angle you can manage without actually hurting yourself. You grunt pitifully about all your bones. Oh, right, your booming drone pursuing business. This client you have here looks extra shitty. Good luck getting anything good for whatever this mutant is that you scraped up from the gristle grate. If you take a moment to consider the potential. The blue guy rolls his eyes and keeps walking, elbowing his way right between the two of you on his way past, like you're nothing. Tagora freezes. He's bouncing up and down very gently. His eyes stay fixed ahead of him, where the blue guy was just standing. It's like he hasn't processed the movement yet, even though he got knocked back a few steps in his wake. He starts shaking. Yikes! That was, tense. You want to say something reassuring to Tagora, but he has kind of ascended into another plane of existence. Maybe a nice reassuring pat on the shoulder will help diffuse the mood? You put a ginger hand in the mere vicinity of his body, and he whirls to face you, eyes narrowed and breathing heavy. You snatch your hand back fast. Mistake! You got some quick grabbers. Do you plus 50, we've upgraded. Do you have any idea how rare that networking opportunity was? Every time. Do you realize what you... Plus 5,000 damages for slide down antisocial ladder. No, of course you don't. You don't know anything. You're just a weird little hornless thing who doesn't even know how to cross the fucking street. Plus 50, return of swear jar. He starts laughing all high-pitched and weird. Up until now, he seemed so slick, so unflappable, that Gorgor is hard to reconcile with the one pacing back and forth, hollering and grabbing at his face. He's pretty goddamn flapped. Oh boy, you really screwed this up, huh? Maybe your busted neck routine was not convincing enough? Or too convincing? Either way, you figure might be time to bow out before the scene really blows up. You tell him so. Your neck is fine. Look, you've headbanged a bit to prove it. No, a deal is a deal is a deal. Plus 100, we've upgraded again. He breathes in slowly through his nose. Alright, Gorgor, remember your mantra. He closes his eyes after an awkward minute of watching him whisper something unintelligible to himself. He opens them and immediately starts up the bonkers pace again, so you skedaddle to catch up. It's a cute word, skedaddle. Also, sorry, because I think this happened twice now for the phone randomly ringing. I think I've been pausing the recording, but I'm sure you can hear the opening. Spam calls, you know how it is. He keeps talking, though by now he's just talking to himself, with you as an eavesdropping barnacle with really slow legs. Little manic giggles bubble out in between his sentences. We're headed towards justice, all right. Up to 200 now. Keep walking, we're seeing this through. I've got a bottom line to uphold. Okay, not bad. Maybe things are still cool between you? Maybe this lawyer-client relationship still has a chance to blossom into something more? You venture a friendly type topic and ask him by his mantra. He stops walking and looks at you like you just shat on his Lucis's grave.
You don't just ask someone what their mantra is.
Plus 2,500 mantra request for literature. I can't read. Maybe not so cool. Yeah. He shivers, spooked, and turns his stanky stare from you to the path you're on. After a moment, he smooths back all the hairs he shook out of place during his freak-out, pivots, and turns down a side street.
Anyway, as I was about to say, there are many ways to fulfill the terms of our contract.
Plus 300 now. We're racking up 14,000, almost 15,000. Whatever the currency is called.
I was hoping this would lead to a more stimulating evening. I was prepared to get into it with you. For you.
300.
But it's become clear that this partnership is no longer worth the work. Especially now that I have to consider the significant career setback I just experienced at your feckless hand. So instead of wasting any more of my time or yours, let's take a shortcut to the same end result, sparing us both the agony of enduring a long court battle in the proximity of one another. Here's your verdict. You're guilty.
12,500 guilty verdict immersement. Guilty? Wait, wasn't it supposed to be the other guy on trial? Look around, panic rising in your chest.
Oh, don't tell me. You don't know how the legal system works either. Unsurprising and uninteresting.
We're up to 400 now, folks. Almost as 29,000 not dollars, Alternian currencies. Oh, this is bad. You'd been so caught up in watching him talk that you didn't notice him guiding you straight to the shittier part of town. You know, the part that's all half-demolished hives and creepy noises and drones flying around? Drones like the one that turns to notice you when Tagora whistles, snaps his fingers, and points right at your head.
Hey, big guy.
Up to 500.
Over here. One extremely malformed and unviable troll. Just the way you like it.
500. You shouldn't feel surprised at this betrayal, maybe. But you do. For a second, anyway. Then you focus on yelling and scanning for possible debris to hide under. Tagora starts backing away as the drone gets closer.
There's a sewer clinic straight over him.
Up to plus 750.
You probably won't make it. But if you do, check your pocket.
25,000 dues specified for bad end. Rest in peace. Also, I know he's pointing. If you look down here. I know he's pointing. It looks like he has a gun. It looks like he has a gun, and I'm right. As I often am. So yay, let's get the good ending. Let's go take, so now we're back down to only 2,590, and we're gonna take a goddamn bath. You're more than a little concerned about the trap part of the instructions you just received, but hey, at least your trap you know about is better than one you don't. And with everything else you can see so freaky pristine, he has to be hiding evil somewhere. You wonder if it's a dungeon. A dungeon could be cool. The obligatory Alternian torture basement. The ferret bounds down off his pedestal and jerks its head for you to follow it. Aww. You do, because it seems like a regular thing to do, and Tagora is busy on his computer. It leads you to a bathroom, which is just as fancy and clean as everything else you've seen. The Lucis chitters at you for a second, squirms its big noodle body around, and leaves, shutting the door behind it. So, fun fact, I love rats. I love ferrets or like rodents in general, but actually I love rats. I've had a couple in my life, and they're all so cute, and I kind of want a ferret, but I know they smell really bad, so it's like, and they're super high energy. It's just, oh. So, man, there's so many products everywhere. And I'm thinking about Claire, because, you know, obligatory thinking about Claire every day, also it's Friday. So, there's my secret. I record these things in advance, obviously. Because they dye their hair. I'll post a picture of them in a video eventually. They like to dye their hair, and this means a lot of things, and now I'm trying to wonder where the fuck they got orange hair dye. It might have been made out of blood. Cool fact of the day. You wait a second till it's probably gone before you test the handle. It's unlocked. Huh. You wonder what the point or, motive might be for leading you to this room until you turn and see yourself in the mirror. That is some haggard looking stuff right there, so fair. You're flying by the seat of your pants, but you guess maybe you're supposed to take a bath? If not, and he gets pissed and unleashes the ferret on you, at least you'll meet your maker nice and clean. You half expect some indiscernible goo or blood or something to come out of the faucet in the weird lumpy tub. But thankfully it's just water. Who knew? Who knew they had just water in bathrooms? Once you're in, you take a look at the truly inordinate amount of bath products you have at your fingertips. It's a bajillion. There are 3 shelves of little bottles and soaps and unidentifiable lathersome accessories by the tub alone, with even more by the mirror. The labels are all gibberish, of course, but you sniff a few until you find something flowery and go to town. Self-care time after dying multiple times. Self-care time. You take more time than you should in there, but you haven't experienced a moment of luxurious solitude in a bit. Full-time friendship searching can be difficult work. It's good to recharge. Once you're freshly scrubbed and dried, you slather yourself head to toe with some lotion you find in an iridescent vial. You hope he won't mind you using it. He wants you to be presentable, and this stuff is sparkly. Super sparkly. One might even say, unnaturally sparkly. You're starting to feel rejuvenated as hell, ready to knock this friendship stuff right out of the park. There's the ferret again. You leave your dirty, torn-up clothes on the floor, wrap yourself in one of the many satin bathrobes folded on a shelf, and head back out to find Tagora. Okay, that's right, you are wearing clothes. They just weren't drawn on the sprite, because they were irrelevant. He's standing in his foyer, waiting with the contract he's typed up for you. When he sees you, his eyebrow ticks up. I see you went with the Rainbow Drinker Serum. Full body application. Bold choice. I mean, it's an incredibly rare and expensive product, and I do expect to be remunerated, but I won't lie, it works. Plus 115,000 Crush French handmade troll cosmetics. Yeah, sure, that stuff. You don't want to let out you don't know what it is, since he seems impressed. Instead, you give his ego a little stroke and tell him you hadn't seen such a sumptuous array of self-care accoutrements in so long that you couldn't help yourself. Not everyone takes skincare as seriously as they should. I assumed you were taking forever in there because you'd gotten lost or didn't know how to use the evolution trap. I hadn't considered the possibility that you were just doing your regimen. Noted. Minus 500 rebate for impeccable skincare. You hold your arms out to admire the well-hydrated sheen you have going on. This time, you're not even really bullshitting. It does just actually look pretty good. I want Rainbow Drinker Serum in real life. I know you could just put holographic glitter in a lotion. Actually, no. That wouldn't work. It might. I'm not going to try that because I would just get glitter everywhere, but that would be really tempting, actually. Tagora seems like he's struggling. He keeps opening his mouth to say something, then changing his mind. He's clutching the documents in his hand like a flotation device. He looks down at them, then back at you. I typically only use that particular product to highlight my cheek blades, but there's no real reason you should apply it more liberally, especially if cost isn't an issue. It's a little drastic for my personal style, but there's a certain unorthodox glamour to it. The next bit looks like it hurts him a bit to get out. Would you like to step outside to see the full effect? You bet your ass you would! You're curious about what he means by effect, and this seems like more fun than signing stuff. He places the documents down at his desk like they're made of glass, not paper. He looks up at his Lucis. It just sort of tilts its head to the side. You look away and give them privacy to do whatever eyeball communication is going on. After a bit, Tagora clears his throat and heads toward the door. Psychic ferret. It's fucking the 8th wonder of the world. Just kidding, I know Jeff isn't a ferret. You don't comment on the bluish flush in his cheeks. For all the shift in his demeanor, he still seems like he might kick you out on your ass if you try to get too feelingy with him. We're glowing. You start to glow as soon as you step back out into his dark front yard. Not in a light bulb kind of way, but a subtle, ethereal luminescence. What is this stuff?
Now that is a look. I mean, there's still the unfortunate issue of your hornlessness and overall aberrance, and the fact that you're still wearing my evolution robe. Evolution robe rental fee, plus 150. But it's cutting edge, I'll give you that. You look almost like a real one.
You don't know what that means, but you want to roll eternally in the praise part? You ask if the look will help your case.
You're right. Your case, of course.
Trolls do be bisexual. Most of them. He bites his lip and looks back through the window at the paper sitting on the desk where he left them. You still hope he wants to represent you, or at least that he'd want to hang out even if he wasn't going to. You don't get the chance to prod, though, because right then someone rounds the corner on the sidewalk in front of his hive. Tagora's face immediately shudders into its usual simpering mask. There's an edge of panic around his eye, though. Huh.
Wow, Gorjek, what have we here?
It's a blue-themed troll, which, if you remember right, means he's a fancier guy than Tagora. He's grinning like Troll Christmas came early. You can feel Tagora vibrating out of his skin next to you. Who even is this guy? He's a surprise tool that will help us later. When he gets close enough to get a good look at you, he jumps and he jumps and screeches, "What in the bulge boiling fuck?" I'm gonna use that from now on. Tagora is frozen, the corner of his mouth pulled back to show his teeth. And he goes bzzz. The new guy is ignoring him in favor of noticing that you are dressed in Tagora's monogrammed leisure wear, if his look of fascinated horror is anything to go by. You don't really know what makes you do it. You should wait for Tagora to get himself together and do the talking, but you're riding the high of him almost seeming like he was enjoying your company. Plus, nothing boosts confidence like looking like a beautiful, spooky angel. So you toss your head, put on your best fancy guy voice, and say, "What? Never seen a real one before?" So the one time I won a Best in Theme award at a convention. Remember conventions? I was dressed as Taco, Taco Adventure Zone. And it was the most perfect impression I've ever done. I'm just reminiscing on that for a second. You're placing all your chips on this guy knowing something you don't, but when his eyes get huge and he starts stumbling over himself to back away down the sidewalk, you know it's paid off. Tagora blinks, then jumps right in, picking up directly where you left off.
Surely someone as well informed as yourself knows a rainbow drinker when he sees one.
The blue guy doesn't respond with anything more coherent than a string of yelps as he hightails it back the way he came. When he's gone, you turn to Tagora and ask him super casually what rainbow drinker is. He stares at you in stunned silence.
Are you telling me you didn't know?
You nod.
Unless you ran with it anyway, exploiting the fear you picked up on to turn the tide of a delicate encounter to your favor?
You shrug. You guess so? You told Tagora you hope his friend wasn't too freaked out. They're not friends.
Friend? No, I hate that guy. There's simply times when being liked by your betters is helpful. Liked. Though, technically, fearing me is just as good. Better, maybe. 420. So, thank you.
Tagora's laugh is soft. It's not a sound you expected to hear. He's happy because of something you did. You can't help it. You start laughing too.
That was a bit of a rush, wasn't it? It was almost fun. I certainly didn't see it coming anyway. I underestimated you.
He gives you an appraising look, then takes a deep breath. You're so nervous all of a sudden. You might feel unbalanced on the precipice of what he might be about to say.
From one prevaricator to another, I'm gonna let you in on something. I haven't actually encountered an alien before. Plus 250 surcharge for truth reveal.
Oh, sweet relief. You tell him his act was airtight. As long as everyone's doing the true thing, you admit a lie to it too. You aren't actually rich.
Yes, that's clear now. You have the invaluable ability to fake it, though. It's potentially much better. Why don't we put your case on hold for the time being? You wouldn't have enjoyed the outcome of our legal system anyway.
1,500 preemptive interest.
Whoops. Unheld suit. We can find an alternate means of you working off your debt. I think we may make a better team than I had previously anticipated. With our wits combined, we can tackle bigger and better things than traffic injuries.
He flexes his hand at his side, and then in one swift and decisive movement, he extends it out to you. On his face is something close to an honest-to-God, real-ass smile.
I've never actually formed a legitimate partnership of any sort before, but I believe this is how it's done. What do you say?
Plus 965 5% friendship discount. Yay, friendship discounts. The glow in your heart shines brighter than any expensive and still kind of mysterious lotion. You take his hand in your firm, no-nonsense grasp of pure, inexorable joy and shake it. Friendship! You know, as long as you sign here and ignore the fact that he's wearing a vest with a turtleneck, because of course he is. That's just Alternian fashion for you. So yay, that was Tagora's route. Meeting some cool, funky new dudes. Don't know how that character voice came out. I'll find out when I watch this episode back to edit it. And yeah, always fun to make a new friend. Next time, I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I'll figure it out by the time we get there. Mr. Airplane Man. And you know, it's always fun to beat an iridescent alien, as one does. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye!